Hi folks, today I want to say thank you to Mr. Gary Griffith. Now before you jump up from your chair and wonder what is happening, let me give you a little background. Since my voice note about the polygraph testing and those issues relating from the police commissioner's exercise, I think my words annoyed Gary a great deal. And he started sending me text messages on his number, some of which was trying to insult me, saying I'm irrelevant and he beat me and beat all of us. And, the same childish things he kept repeating. But I said, I responded to him in a polite and intellectual manner. And some of it I shared with only a couple of people to let them see how foolish this man is acting. Then, yesterday or day before yesterday, he started sending me text messages afresh. Again, saying that how he beat all of us and he beat me. And then to prove his point, he went ahead and sent me a copy of the KPMG marking list for the Commissioner of Police position 3 years ago. And he highlighted his position and my position. He was number 1, I was number 5. And between us was Stephen Williams, Michael Seals, and Anand Ramisa. And underneath me, there were several other senior officers who had applied. Now, let me explain something about selection procedures that you all would know. When you do a selection procedure, it is very subjective. Some of the interviews and questionnaires and things they ask, people look at it, especially people like KPMG who are not police officers, they might look at it differently. And they have their favorites. They know Gary. They know some of the other officers. None of them knew me. So I was coming with a disadvantage in the first place. But be that as it may, the fact is, that was not the end of the exercise, because on that list, Dulalchan and Harold Phillips' name did not appear. The Service Commission, within its own authority and wrongly and unfairly in my opinion, went ahead and sat together and decided that they're going to include them in the process for commissioner, even though they did not apply for that post, and then will put them on top of the merit list over the other people. And then they decided to get rid of me. They would seek legal advice from a senior counsel and get an advice from one senior counsel. And if you could get any advice you want, if you pick the correct people, I'm saying that that because of my age, 60 years when I applied, that they should not offer me the job or put me on the merit list, even though they put me through the entire process, and even though it's a contractual job, not a job that fell under the police service regulations where the retirement age is 60. Now, I have been part of countless recruitment panels when I was working in the UN. And what I can tell you is this, that many times we did interviews and some person did excellently well in the interview, better than the other candidates. But let's say 5 people passed the interviews and the rest we say did not pass. You may find, because of other factors, the person who gets the job may be number 4. Because other factors will have to come in. We'll have to sit down and assess now for the job suitability. And that's where the overall manager will have to come in. Suitability for the job, temperament, what kind of job it is. So in some jobs you need a particular language, or you need a person of a particular gender, or it may be better to have a person of a certain nationality, whereas the person who came first is of the wrong nationality because they may be oversubscribed. That's a term I will explain at a future time. All of these things are in there. And in the end, you make decisions not based so much on the outcome of the interview, but the outcome of the entire process, which includes an ending assessment. So Gary's saying that he beat us and he beat me is foolish. It is stupid. Because at the end of the day, his name was not number 1 on the merit list. It was number 4. And he himself told me in a voice note that I had a very good, another voice note, a text message, that I had a very good case to fight in court for them leaving me out because of my age. But here the main point why I'm saying thank you to Gary Griffith. Gary has proven to me now that he was in possession or is in possession of confidential documents from KPMG and by extension the Police Service Commission. How did he get possession of those documents? It means I have very little trust for the Police Service Commission and KPMG in their processes. If a candidate could have these documents and bandying it about, you remember 3 years ago, he was talking about how much marks he got on the media. So he already knew that. So the process was never fair. There was bias towards Gary. And to make matters worse, by doing this, by sending that document to me, what he has done now is provided evidence to Ramesa to show that he was on the cusp of making the merit list the last time if they did not put in Dulalshan and Harold Phillip unfairly and incorrectly and wrongly. And now for this process, you didn't even invite him at the final stage. Something must be wrong. So thank you. I will be able to pass on this information to Ramesa so that he can use it. But what it also shows that Mr. Griffith cannot be trusted to keep and maintain confidential information and documents. You remember yesterday or sometime previous, yes, he was saying on the media that he wants or intends to or could or would or should release text messages between him and the Prime Minister. Now, commissioners have had conversation with prime ministers all the time. And none of them would dare threaten or even think about releasing that to the press, no matter what the situation is, because they understand the level of integrity and professionalism it takes, even after they have retired. And we have 4 living retired commissioners: Trevor Paul, Everald Snaggs, Stephen Williams, Philbert James. And I know these gentlemen very well. And the high level of integrity and professionalism I know that they possess, they will never even threaten to do that, much less think about releasing it. I may have disagreements with one of them about issues where the police service is concerned, but I trust their integrity. I cannot say the same for Gary. If you are threatening to release information that you had conversations with the Prime Minister, nobody would be able to trust you in positions of high office where trust and confidentiality is key. Not even the opposition, not even my good friend Rudal Munilal, who was, for those of you who don't know, when I was president of the Students' Guild at campus, Rudal was first the secretary and then the vice president for the time I served as president. And I know him. He's a very smart and very astute person when it comes to politics. And you think he's going to take a chance and bring somebody like that in who is threatening to release that? Because he could do the same to the other people, the other party. You remember, he also said that in America, the police officials criticized President Trump. And so what's the problem if he criticizes the Prime Minister? He does not understand the difference between America and Trinidad. Trinidad is a unitary state. America, police forces are not unitary. They are multifaceted, multidimensional. So, for example, the president only controls the federal arm of government, including the like TSA and FBI. And if any FBI official would attempt or even dare to say what Gary said, against the president, they will be fired immediately. Of course, there are other police officials. State police come under the governor of that state. City police come under the mayor of that particular city. And they don't hold any allegiance to the president. In fact, many of them are of different parties than the president. So they don't have that same level of allegiance. The president has no control over them. They go back to their own persons, their own leaders. And some of the sheriffs and so on, they have to run for office, meaning they have to go through an election to be elected. It means that they are politicians. But even in America, you have privacy and confidentiality clauses in the law that will make it a crime if a police officer would attempt to do what Gary say he's going to do. But what it tells everyone is that Gary cannot be trusted, in my opinion, to hold any high office. Now, he hasn't held high office for long in anything. The longest was in the army, and he resigned from there. And the people calling him captain, listen, you cannot be called captain, and you can't carry your rank if you resign. Only if you retire from your commission. If you resign your commission, you can't carry captain. So he's not captain now. Then he lost the job as minister after 8 months. And he was out the party and there was issues there. Now he's out of the job as commissioner and he would not get it back. Somebody else would, not him. So, let me just make it clear. I am not doing these things because I want to be relevant or I'm suffering from tabanka. No, my friend. People who know me, I have a good life. And I continue to have a good life. But I love the police service and I will not let anybody attempt to besmirch it, destroy it, undermine it, or anything of that nature. And that is what I believe Gary is attempting to do. Even talking about crime as if you're celebrating the fact that murder rates went up. You couldn't stop it, Gary. But let's get this clear. This has to stop. This man is acting as a crazy person. It's very abnormal what he's doing and what he's saying. And why are these media folks still indulging him in this nonsense? Come on, people. Let's do better than this.